Look at what YouTube's showing you. Look at what TikTok's showing you.
Exactly. You're already surrounded by the things you love.
Dancing people? Just lots of dancing people.
So much dancing. Okay.
How do I
guess.
D&D?
Yeah. Let's acrobatics expertise. Here we go. Oh. It's been a while.
Hey, how's it going, man?
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. How about you?
All right, can't complain.
Can't or
I can't. You can always complain. But I shouldn't complain.
No.
Everything going all right.
Yeah, just all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. Fair to Midland, as they say.
Yeah, I don't mind. I'm getting used to doing this.
Yeah.
So let's get it done and go home.
All right. Sounds good. Yeah.
I think it's your turn.
Sure. All right. Attention. Read out loud exactly what's written on this note or be destroyed and replaced. Welcome to Caffeine Cantrips, the show where we talk about D&D or else. Hello, I'm Byron, number 172.
And I'm Sean, number 148.
This week, these two yeasty, pottle-deep wagtails will be bringing color back to their cheeks. So make sure you are ready to experience the doldrum shedding of all sheds. If you're not sure about your doldrums, please see the following life simulation. Read Life Simulation 33426.
Oh, that thing.
Oh, there's another. Hi, I'm Joe.
And I'm Mike.
Do you ever get the feeling like you've forgotten to have fun?
Is it like you've been stuck in a rut and just can't get out of it?
Well, we have the solution for you. Introducing
Caffeine Cantrips. Caffeine Cantrips is a simple yet highly effective way to bring back the joy in your life.
All you need to do is follow our simple instructions and watch as the fun starts flowing.
Let's start with a simple task. Cards.
I love playing cards.
All you have to do is shuffle the deck.
Looks like just
we can't even shuffle a deck of cards.
It's all right. It's all right. At least we have a caffeine.
Well, maybe we need a little more practice.
Yeah, maybe Caffeine and Cantrips isn't for us at all.
Yeah, that's the most fun we've had in a while.
Relatable? I thought so. Roll title. Yeah, so I'm done filming life simulations.
I thought it was gonna be another day in the office. I just want everyone to know I'm very good at shuffling cards. Okay?
Like a pro.
Pro.
Yeah. Some would say you have expertise.
Oh, look at that.
But hey, welcome to Caffeine and Cantrips. Mm-hmm. Hopefully we can bring a little bit of fun into your life, as it has into ours.
Yeah.
But so today we are talking about how to bring fun and how would you say?
Maximize fun.
Make it big.
All fun, all the time, maximum power.
Yeah.
To your D&D experience.
As Deadpool says, a maximum effort.
Maximum fun.
Yeah.
No.
So this one I think we should talk about a little bit today.
No, I think it's important because as much fun as you're having currently at your table, I think everyone, I think it's rare that a person would say, no, I don't want more fun.
I think. And who are those people?
And give me their life.
Yeah.
Because that seems...
I have too much fun in my life. I require you to take some. So exactly. Most of us don't have the problem of too much fun, too much satisfaction, too much enjoyment in the world. So let's see if we can't make the most out of one of our favorite hobbies and pastime. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, we always say the most people I think play D&D to have fun. So let's see if we can sort of have more fun with that.
Yeah. Beauty.
Yep.
Beauty. And I suppose, you know what? Number one thing that you got to do in order to do that is to make a space for it.
Okay.
Right? You got to get in there. You got to like prepare yourself to go in to that and have fun therein. Right?
Mm-hmm.
If you don't plan.
Well, before you keep going though, I want to ask you guys out there, have you ever watched a video and thought to yourself, that content is great. You know what I should do?
I have watched videos that I thought were great.
Yeah.
What do I do?
What you do is push that like and subscribe button.
Like, subscribe.
And that so ends Life Simulation 3357.
No more life simulations.
Please.
No,
just like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe, and we will save you from life simulations. Or one of these times, we're just going to release an entire episode of life simulations. And it'll be worse for you than it was for us. But that's a threat and a promise. So please, join us in having the best fun that we can have. Mm-hmm. Get us to number one of the charts. Whatever charts there are.
Life simulation charts.
Life simulation charts. But yeah, speaking of life simulation, let's make a space for us. Let's simulate having kind of that area where you can go in and make sure that this is something that you want to do in the first place, right? A friend has dragged you to this and you've been going for them, but not for you. You'd rather do something else. Well, then maybe this isn't the fun that you're looking for. Maximize your fun in a pastime that you want to commit to, right? And maybe that means that, hey, I just don't like fantasy. Hey, I don't just like this system that we're using. I would prefer another system. Whatever. I don't like combat. I don't like exploration. I don't like RP. Whatever it is, right? Go and find the game that you actually want to play. And when you're playing it, like actually do it. Be there. Right? Lots of distractions are always in our lives, right? Whether it's on the phone or technology's getting involved. Not many people are reading a book while they're playing D&D, but anything that's pulling your attention away from what you're doing is going to be interrupting that flow of satisfaction, I think. And I know that obviously nowadays we're moving more and more into a technological kind of space.
It's almost even worse, more distractions, right?
Well, it is. It is the source of distractions. Right. Not only, if you're running D&D Beyond, or if you're running a virtual tabletop or whatever on your phone, there's some new kind of augmented reality ones that are coming out for the phones now. When we look at this, the phone is also your access to being a phone, to being a game machine, to being a record and document keeper, to being a hub for social media, right? All of the distractions that primarily happen in our lives, right, are coming out of this little box that we keep in our pocket or purse. So, we need to kind of not go back to the pen and paper route, but maybe, put it on airplane mode or something, right? Like remove the distractions from. Really set up a space where you can be present and be comfortable with where you're at, right?
Well, in a place where like you can be least distracted, right? From what you're doing, which is playing D&D.
Well, at least mitigate that, right?
As much as you can. Well,
of course, in the hospital and you're waiting to hear on the heart surgery. Don't put it on airplane mode. That's important, right? Like you want to respond to those kinds of things. But if it is something that you can do to just switch off the outside world for those 2-3 hours that you're playing, great, right? Those of us who are multi-tabbing while we're playing on like Roll20 or whatever, and you've got World of Warcraft up in one screen and your team's meeting up in the other screen.
League of Legends on the other one.
You're just like
you're writing a report for work on the other one.
Yeah, you're mashing out that essay that's due tomorrow, right? Like let's maybe just not go to the session because the session will wait, right? Like you're going to be too distracted. Too much is going on in your brain that you can't just sit and enjoy it like you should. Right. And with that being said, things are not always as they seem when we are playing. So one of the things that I think that we really need to do is to get rid of what I would call our limiting beliefs. So if I was to say, hey, Sean, How are Rangers in 5e D&D?
Oh, Rangers are the worst. Why would you ever play a Ranger? Beastmaster? No thanks.
A life simulation. So, because I don't know what actually saw it, but he's playing in perfectly. So yeah, he believes that
I think Rangers are perfectly fine.
Actually, Rangers, they weren't great, but then they kind of got where they needed to be. And that's a great example of an evolution over time of an old thought or a traditional thought, limiting what you are going to believe, right? It's changing your mental access to the game.
Right.
And you go, oh, well, I guess I won't try that because somebody else said it was bad.
Right.
Well, maybe it didn't work for them, or maybe at their table, things in the homebrew or things in the rules or the way the DM adjudicated, it didn't work very well. But at this table, it could be a completely different experience.
In this campaign.
This way, it's your tool. You should go and try it. So don't let the best builds or the top 10s or whatever necessarily focus you away from your goal of having fun. There's so many ways of choosing how you want to do it that if that's the route that you want to go do it. You're going to experience different challenges, different boundaries, different obstacles, but then you work with the table, you work with the DM, you work with everybody around you to mitigate that and or answer those questions in a unique way. And that exploration could be fun. A lot of fun.
Yeah. No, it is fun. Sometimes the most fun characters are the ones that come from like the most ridiculous idea. Yeah. You're like, how can we make this work? Well, it probably won't be the most optimized.
That's your specialty, right? Is optimizing the unoptimized.
I want to fight with chopsticks.
Yes. I want to do poison and chopsticks and that's it. Good old times in the past. Yeah. But yeah, so it's a great way of kind of looking at, barbarians are boring. Why? What do? They rage and they hit things. Well, maybe I'm going to try and figure out how to make that a little bit more, right? Yeah, okay, that's the core dynamic. Sure, but you haven't slathered on any of the good stuff. And we've talked about how you take a core and basically you add and you add and you add it. And then all of a sudden you don't recognize it. It's a whole different sandwich at the end of it when you're done creating it. So yeah, get out there and don't let other people necessarily cut off.
Sorry, I thought about a barbarian priest. Yeah. It's like a WWE priest. Oh yeah.
You're going to get on your knees and you're going to praise Heliod. To those of you in Theros. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, no, so it's, oh my God. So it's just, it's a matter of getting out there and not letting people kind of shoo you away from things that you think could be fun because they're not you. You are a unique individual. You have your own hierarchy of wants, needs, and likes, and you should satisfy that. And playing a game, a fantasy game, a theater of the mind game is really where you should be doing that, is in exploring those things that you can't do anywhere else.
I mean, you say don't let other people shoo you away from the things that you might sound fun. Yeah. You might think is fun, Don't shoo yourself away either from the things that you think might be fun just because you think other people might not like it.
Super important. Right? Give yourself permission to have fun. Yeah. Say, this is my night off. This is my cheat day from my work, from my academics, from my medical practice, whatever it is. This is my cheat night where I just get to satisfy my need for fun. Yeah. So that's what I'm going to do, right? I'm going to go out. It's not going to be guilt laden. I'm not going to worry about the hours I wasted, tomorrow, because I didn't. I went and I spent some me time, some refreshing time. And built it back. Yep. And that's important. A lot of people will not give themselves the permission to do it. And if you don't feel like you have the permission, then you feel like there's consequences or you feel like there's going to be backlash or whatever. And so the guilt of the future starts compiling into the present. And then you never get to the point where you're actually looking forward to and enjoying what it is that you're doing. So give yourself permission and then just flip the script, right? Just say, I'm going to have fun. This isn't a waste of time. This isn't a hobby that's just, no, I'm getting out there with my friends. I'm going to go have a drink. I'm going to go have a smoke. I'm going to go have a whatever in an entertaining place. Yeah. And then go do it.
Right. If you ever find yourself saying, I have to go to D&D, flip it and say, hey, you know what? I get to go to D&D. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Because it really is. It's a privilege to be able to play D&D.
I think so.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. So for sure. And keep that gratefulness up, right? Yeah. So you can be excited to do it.
Understanding and living with like a more gratitude focused life is something in general is something that a lot of people say have changed their lives for the better in a kind of a permanent way. So why can't we do it with D&D, the thing that's supposed to be fun anyway?
Yeah. 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 Well, that's great. Setting up your space, like getting yourself ready for playing D&D in the right mindset. Sort of getting anything out of your way so that you can have fun, right?
Yeah, it's getting that space ready to go, right? Mentally, whatever you got to do, right, to get in there and say, yes, I'm going.
Yeah.
Yes, I want to go, right?
Yeah.
My adventurer, my PC has a reason he wants to be an adventurer.
Yeah.
I have a reason that I want to go play, right?
Well, exactly, right?
Yeah.
And now that we're here at the table, it's time to have fun.
Yeah.
Right? And in the obvious answers on how to have more fun is just do more fun things. Right? And it seems really obvious, but it's actually, I think, more difficult to do that than one might at first believe it is.
Oh.
Well, because what's fun? Like, have you ever thought about what you find fun about D&D, exactly what it is?
Well, I am now.
Right? Is it, all right? Well, is it rolling dice? Like, it could be a lot of things, right? Think about it, and if you can sort of zone in on what that stuff is, those, because everyone's idea of fun is different, and what they find fun about D&D specifically is different from person to person.
That's true.
So if you can identify for yourself what it is exactly that you find fun about D&D, then you can hone in on those things and focus on those specific activities.
Well, it's good because you can go as vague as the 3 pillars, right? Or you can go as specific as one of the subsets of them, right?
Yes, absolutely, right? And if you're wondering, like, how do I, like, because it seems really abstract. Like, how do I figure out what do I find fun? I don't know. It's like, I like games. I like fighting. Like, do I like what kind of fighting though? Right?
I like winning.
Right. So some things to think about then. Like, think about initially when, like, what made you want to play D&D? Because it is a little bit of a hurdle, and there's got to be something that made you start, as opposed to doing something else that's fun.
Yeah. Well, your friends were doing it.
Right.
That cute girl asked you to join the group.
Right. And when you were playing, was it the strategy part that you liked? Like in the fights, or the setting up the fights, traps, or whatever? Is it the storytelling, the narrative aspects of D&D that you love? Like,
that's mine. That's mine. I love the story.
Yeah. Is it playing with your friends? That cute boy or girl? Is it your family members that were playing? Like, do you like playing with people?
Mom or dad?
Brother and sister, that dog, that cat, the fish, whatever you're into. Like, I
Fish
guess
always rolls 20s. Such a cheap.
Stop it. Is it that you're interested in? Or maybe it's, there's other, I think about, like, sort of what aspects of playing that bring you the most pleasure. Like if you don't know as you're playing, just pay attention to, like, oh, I'm having fun now. What exactly am I doing right now?
Or more fun, right? I'm enjoying, or more, maybe it starts as an interest. Oh, what are they doing? That part of the story, that part of the fight, that thing that you did where you jumped off the top rope and you did some triple flip, bring your axe, right? I found that cool. Oh, mark 1 in the cool factor for something that, and then find that, right?
Yeah.
Started figuring that out. Because that can lead you there. Right? It might not start as fun.
Absolutely. Is it the action that I like? Is it mystery? That kind of stuff? Do I like role playing and having the dramatic sort of moments between players and NPCs? Is it the teamwork that I like? Right? Solving puzzles together? Is it like maybe creating characters and developing that character arc? Right, that I like. It could be a lot of things, right? There's social aspects to D&D.
Oh,
fun, right?
All of them. Yeah.
There's creative aspects, mostly those two. There's also the strategy as well. But like social stuff would be like, that's like the playing with your friends, right? If you like that, then focus more on doing things with the people at your table.
Yes.
Right? Is it the camaraderie that you like to do? That feeling of camaraderie and that bonding between the players that happens through the role play in the game? Then, like, do that stuff that will create more bonding moments between the characters and the players. Because we talked about that, right? How it transfers from the players to the characters to the players.
You know what might be a nice hint? If you don't know yourself in the moment, a hint could be Netflix. And the reason I say this is, what are you consuming?
What are you watching?
Yeah. What shows attract you? Do you love the story of Band of Brothers? Or do you love the fact that it's set in World War II and there's guns and there's fighting and there's all this death and killing? Do you love Korean dramas? Right? Because they do whatever they do for you. I'm sorry, I'm not into Korean dramas and I can't pretend to be, but they do something for you. That social engagement, that aspect, whatever it is that they play with. the media that you consume will also, you're programming the algorithm to tell you what you like.
Yeah.
So look at your playlists on Netflix, on Amazon.
Look at what YouTube's showing you. Look at what TikTok's showing you.
Exactly. You're already surrounded by the things you love.
Dancing people? Just lots of dancing people.
So much dancing. Okay.
How do I
guess.
D&D?
Yeah. Let's acrobatics expertise. Here we come. Right. That could be, and I think that's a good example.
No, it's a great idea. Yeah.
It's already out there. It's already surrounding you, and it's already programmed to give you what you want. So maybe that's what you want in D&D too.
That's a really interesting idea. What does it mean that Netflix shows me a lot of like
you have a child? That's
food and cooking based show.
Oh, because you like cooking. You like the exploration of food. Maybe you like food.
Well, that's why one of the characters I've always wanted to play but I haven't yet is that combat chef.
Yeah, battle chef.
I think it's so awesome. Anyways, we digress.
So social I didn't want to interrupt, but I think that was a great hint of if you can't see it when you're there in first person, you can go outside of the table, outside of the game, and you can see what you like anyway. Yeah.
So where was I? Netflix, social aspects. There's also
Netflix, social.
There's creative aspects of D&D too. The two big ones are social and creative, I think.
Yes.
And then the creative stuff, if you think about it, is expressing your imagination? Is it expressing your creativity through your characters, through the storylines as a player, right? Is it crafting as a DM a unique and complex sort of world for people to enjoy, right? Or a narrative,
or maybe it's just the outfit that your character's wearing.
Yeah,
right. You always want to have that present, front of mind experience of what the world looks like through their clothing. That's an expression point.
Yeah,
it could be that too.
So I mean, there's a lot of the ways that you already play. They just sort of go through your mind and think about what it is that, in particular, that you are drawn to. Like what do you remember, or what do you do all the time, right? And just do more of that stuff, right? And if everyone, and of course, you won't always get your way, but if you focus in on that, then you will get more fun out of it.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, and I think by knowing what to focus on, you'll notice those things more when it does happen, and that comes back to being grateful and appreciating it, because then you see it and you're like, oh yes, I can now. It's this moment, right? And when you know that you love cold cola with lots of ice in that glass cup in a hot summer day on the patio, and you get it, like you just enjoy it that much more.
Yeah, and then the DM comes by with the oath of the clown paladin and steals it from you and sprays you in the face with water. Then you have something to get angry about.
But knowing yourself, finding out what you find fun, I think is an important step to generating and finding more fun in your D&D.
Absolutely.
And I think another thing, I guess, once you have that sort of going, is to focus on the experience of playing D&D.
Oh, okay.
The experience itself of just being present and playing D&D, not specifically on winning or losing, right? Because the idea of fun is actually really closely related to the idea of play.
Oh, okay.
Right? And play itself doesn't have necessarily a goal or winners and losers, nor necessarily rules.
And we're talking about the origins of play when you're like a kid and you're just having fun. That's all you're doing is you're having fun.
It's pure fun and pure play, right? And the rules change, and the things you do don't make sense. And the kids don't even. If they don't even speak the same language, they can still play together and have fun together.
True.
Because it's not about...
Plays a different communication language.
Yeah. Right? So it's not about like trying to forget about winning and losing, optimizing, right? Or not optimizing, am I good enough? Or that kind of stuff, right? So be in the moment when you're playing D&D and when you're role playing. Because it'll, in some ways, not in some ways, in a lot of ways, free you to be able to do whatever you find fun. Because a lot of things that are fun are not necessarily optimized or winning strategies, quote unquote winning, right? That is defeating the big bad in like a turn or 2 turns, or like what people might.
Not my big bad group. I know you're watching. 2 turns, it ain't gonna happen. Sorry.
Might think about winning, right?
Yeah.
Usually people think about being OP and damage per second and healing and action economy and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Right. So it frees yourself to just be in the moment and just do whatever is most interesting and fun. Like the kids, they just do whatever they feel like doing when they're playing. Doesn't need to make sense. Doesn't have to be following any rules or being the best thing to do in the moment. It's whatever they feel like doing.
Yes.
Because they think it's going to be fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? And in that vein, to free yourself from that winning and losing mentality, you should embrace failure. Right?
Right. And there's a distinction that should be made, right, between like failing and like giving up. Right? Like, between failing and losing, right? Like these are not the same thing, right?
Yeah.
A failure is a setback to your goal.
Yeah.
Right. It's not a complete and utter disaster in which that you are no longer allowed to chase that goal.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, when you take away the fear of losing per se, like whatever that is, right, then you free yourself up from consequences, like the direst consequences.
Yeah.
Right. The ones that really shouldn't be in the game anyway. But maybe that could be a limiting factor that you've thought about. Oh, if I fail at this, 1 failure and I'm out, right? Baseball, 3 strikes and I'm out.
Yeah.
Like how many fails can I have in this goal, in this progression of it? Well, it's not... trying to say is you're not walking with nitroglycerin in the mine, right? Like one jolt and you're done. No, it's designed to give you setbacks and hurdles that you can then overcome. And then those become victories, right? Those become parts of winning.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, and when I say embrace failure, I don't mean accept failure, but like seek failure. Because in any good story, failure is just as important to the story and the experience of like going through a story as successes. Right? Your successes are only as epic as your failures are.
Right.
Epic as well. Same thing with your protagonist. Your protagonist is only as cool as, or as good as the antagonist is bad.
Yes.
Type of thing.
Can only be. Yeah.
Can only be. They're limited by that.
Yeah.
So same thing with failure. It's important that you do fail, that you seek failure for your characters, right? To be like, oh, I want them to fail in this way so that later we can experience the triumph of sort of overcoming that failure.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And same thing with like the player creation. Like I'm going to put failure and weaknesses in the character so that they have a challenge in order to triumph over it.
And we're not just talking put failure in your backstory so that you can be a superhero your entire career, right? Give yourself those chances and make sure that you're attempting things that you can fail at, right? Because you can't grow, right? If you don't attempt something greater than yourself. And when you do attempt something greater than yourself, then you might fail. Right. But like we're saying, failure can be fun. Failure can be part of the process.
Well, especially if you think about failure as part of the success, right? Like saying, oh, my character is a coward.
Yes.
You can say that, but in order for it to actually matter and be a failure, you need to find an opportunity to use the character's cowardice to affect the party. Themselves in a very sort of manifested way, right? Not just like it's something that we talk about, but there's no consequences to it. It has some real consequences so that later, when it's that point where they are scared, they're so scared, but they've by character growth and whatnot, they've now overcome their own fear to step up and save the day. That is a triumph. Whereas if someone who's not scared of anything, that's just a Tuesday.
Now, interestingly enough, I think in a literary sense, one of the greatest examples that I can kind of think of off the top of my head is Wizard of Oz. When Dorothy finally makes it to the Emerald City She's meeting the Grand Wizard of Oz for the first time, and the Cowardly Lion is scared of the face and the fire, and he backs up into the curtain where the wizard is actually hiding behind. Right, he succumbs to his cowardice, but then that uncovers a huge plot hole to the story. Right? And they're like, "Oh, you're a guy too. Oh, you came from not Kansas, but you came from Earth too." And blah 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 blah. Right,
Florida.
And so Florida man strikes fear in a nation.
To the Walmart.
That's a great one. But maybe we shouldn't talk about balloons right now. So, when we're talking about these things, right? Like, that's a great example of one character succumbing to their foible in the moment, right? Before he's awarded his little badge of courage, right? His fear has then gone and opened up something that's very important to the continuation of the story. Right. So if you're playing into those foibles and whatnot, DMs, get ready to reward players for role playing. Right. And it's hard. And it's difficult as a DM to come up with those kinds of things like, oh, well, this happened only because you fed into the thing that you were kind of doing, but you sometimes use them, sometimes don't. It's way easier in players when you play your characters and you have kind of things that you do, even if you're on an evolution where you're going to work yourself out of those kind of dark areas, those failures, becoming heroic, right? Finding more fun and interest as you go along. DMs like reinforce the creativity, reinforce that it's good and it's fun to play with these things, and people should be rewarded for leaning in any way that they are, right? We don't want to reward the players who are on their phones the whole time. They don't care. Oh, what dice am I rolling? Okay, there we go. I'm done, right? Like, why would we reward that kind of behavior? Nobody at the table likes that, unless everyone at the table is doing that. In which case, why are you playing D&D? You should be doing something else, like a LAN party or something. Not that I'm gatekeeping, but I'm just saying that you're probably gonna have more fun doing something else because you're already doing something else.
LAN parties are pretty D&D. They're not even a thing anymore, I don't think.
No, I don't think they are. I don't think they are. But maybe bring them back. What? So, but I'm saying, like, in that case, the story was rewarded for the characters doing what the characters do and what they are and so those people, if they were playing a D&D campaign, the Cowardly Lions player is probably getting a high five right now. Because they played into their character, the DM rewarded their RP, and off they went.
I mean, and it's funny you talk about DMs because this whole thing of don't concentrate on winning, embrace failure, and lean into the experience of D&D. It's almost more important for DM to do, right? Because
you don't have enough to worry about.
Well, also it's the worst.
It's true
when it's player when DM wants to win, because who's the DM winning against? The players. Right, like
kind of, they're winning. They're just winning for the sake of winning because the DM can always win. They always win.
But so it's really just making the players lose. I mean, I'm all about that, but don't do it because you'll lose your players really fast that way. Right. So it's even more important for DMs to keep that in mind, that it's not that the winning and losing. It's about that experience of playing. Or DMing for the players. Right.
Yeah. Because you are playing as well. The DM, I expect DMs to have fun as well. We shouldn't just be stress cases, just regurgitating our prep and our notes whenever it's called for, whenever they push the right button. No, we need to be having fun ourselves and creating the opportunity in the scenes and painting the canvas in which the characters move across is probably something that you enjoy if you're sitting in the DM seat. Right? It's not necessarily about besting or challenging or triumphing or whatever, but it's about the story as a whole. And so when we get to lean in, we get to do our stuff, which is most of the time. That speaking from the DM perspective, right? That we're doing this. It's great when a PC looks at you dead in your eye holes and says, "I'd like to call for a scene," and you go, "What?" Right? And they are now painting the canvas. They have now chosen the place, the time, whatever, and they've included whoever they want. Maybe that's an NPC and you get to participate. Maybe it's not an NPC. Maybe this is a PC only kind of thing right now, and then you get to sit back and go, what's happening now, right? And enjoy that. Express the gratitude in your mind for your players wanting to be actors on the stage. Right? They're not just in your story, they're in their story. And that's what we want. We want them to experience their story.
Yes.
So sit back, grab some popcorn, take a sip of water, hydrate, like whatever you're going to do. Use that moment to enjoy. Right?
Or don't, or just punish them.
You want a what? You had your one scene.
I was thinking about the failure, embracing failure for a DM.
Okay.
I was like, what does that come out? What form does that come out in?
Oh, a lot of ways.
A lot of ways. I mean,
that's when your big bad guy gets like smote in 2 rounds, right?
Like,
You're just like, I wanted this to be epic.
Right. But if it's done in a sort of a creative and an epic way, don't feel bad. That's exactly the kind of moment that you want to create in your campaign, right? You look at any of the campaigns that are online, like the Critical Roles, the Dimension 20s.
Okay.
The moments that are the most clipped and everyone talks about is those moments where the DM is thwarted by the players.
You thought
right?
No, totally. You won this round. You won this round. Yeah.
But those are the moments that you're looking for. Those are the moments that players remember and they really enjoy. Like, you tried to run away, but I did this, or like, we destroyed you in 2 turns, but that's because you didn't realize that, right? We can open the windows and you're a vampire or something, right? Like.
My only weakness. Fresh air from outside. Why do you think I kept this castle boarded up for 500 years? You
know what I mean? Like, you guys are clever enough that you just burned down my house. You win, right? And
this round.
But lean into it and enjoy the moment with your players.
Yeah.
Right? Because they're obviously going to have the time of their lives doing stupid cheese like that sometimes.
Yeah.
But if they're just being jerks, well, you know what I mean?
Well, we have ways of dealing with this.
Yeah.
And then that's where you reach into your DM bag and you move on, right? A failure can then just be a setback in your big bad's plan, right? You wanted them to win you wanted them to have a confrontation and you expected them to lose, but they didn't. Okay. That's something that you should maybe do a little thinking about because nothing is for certain. Right? Ultimately, these little math clackers, the dice, kind of have a huge amount of control in what's going on. Right? Whether you like it or not. And sometimes you're rolling hot, sometimes you're rolling not, sometimes they're rolling hot. And when it plays around with that kind of the amount of randomness and chaoticness in it, your story is not a book. You're not in control of everything, right? So accept that they might win or they might persevere. Right. So what do? He runs away. He teleports away. Maybe this is then the time that you have to reveal that there's someone above them. They have a patron and that patron has somebody who can teleport them away, whatever. And then the PCs are like, oh, we thought that was the backup. Yeah. What is this now? Maybe you're playing that card a little too early, but it's going to come out eventually. So why not now? Right. Reach into your bag of tricks. A failure is only a setback for the other side. Let them savor the victory.
Yes.
Right. And I would also say, like, make sure that they know that this is a victory that they weren't supposed to have.
Yeah.
Not flatly. Right. But maybe a minion's left and you go, I can't believe that you defeated my great lord. I give up. And then maybe that NPC will give away a little bit of information that the big bad guy was going to do in his monologue after he crushed the party. Right. You still got all your tools. You've still got everything there. Right. And continue going through it. But let them know then that they just had a big victory.
Chad lifts up the potted plant off of his head and goes, is it over now?
Is it done? Chad was awesome. And I think that's it's like a roundabout way. And I think cutting to it, what we're trying to say is stop playing the game. Just play.
Right.
Like just get in there and do it. And let's say, for instance, something else is happening here, right? Where it's you've defined what it is you're looking for. You're trying to focus on doing that. It's not working. Are you stuck in a rut? Right? Like it's that plays true sometimes.
Have you pushed a like and subscribe button yet?
Oh, I certainly have.
So have I feel great about myself. What about you, Byron?
I want to ring the bell and let everybody know how happy I am.
Wow, you're a great guy.
You are too. Yeah, please satisfy the algorithm. It wants to have fun too.
Life simulations was the worst idea.
Whoever did that. That was me. But beyond we're having fun. We're still smiling in pain. You're stuck in a rut. and you don't know why you're stuck in a rut, those are great times to pull the reins in, right? Stop the wagon and just kind of go, hey guys, let's maybe session 0 or session 0+1 or whatever. Let's go back to our roots, right? Of what we've talked about before, and just be like, be brave, be honest, and just say, I'm not having as much fun as I used to. And I don't know why. Is anyone else feeling this?
Right.
And then brainstorm and accept the fact that it's not your DM's responsibility. It's not the player's responsibility. It's everyone's responsibility, including yourself, right? You have to be an agent for yourself, but you need to kind of say like, hey, I'm not enjoying this as much as I used to. It's kind of becoming a thing that I have to do instead of want to do. So is anyone else feeling this? And if they are, right? Hey, thank goodness I'm not alone. Like, let's fix this, right? Like, let's do something. And what does do something mean? Well, you can agree like, hey, let's just shift this to a fun focus. Let's get off the main storyline that we're just smudging through. Let's have a beach episode. Let's have a shopping episode. Let's have something frivolous. You know what? The DM's going to need some time because the DM agrees maybe that they're in a rut too. Maybe they're burnt out. Maybe they've got too much on their plate and they're having trouble coming up with creative things to keep the story rolling in the way that they thought. Okay, well, somebody else, let's just do a one-shot. Let's give the DM a break for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever it is. Let's do a sequence of one-shots or a one-shot, or if somebody's got like a mini campaign that they want to run for 3-4 weeks, and we just create new characters and just get out of that headspace. Just break that rut, break the patterns and get into it. Do something crazy, like actually go on a crazy adventure. Shift the theme. Like you were playing Grimdark, now we're playing Care Bears, right? Like really, really push outside the borders of what you were doing to reset the computer and reset what's going on. And in this adventure, if you don't crack jokes, like every time the DM talks, you take a hit die of damage. Or so, No, so all we want is an entire night of wisecracking and one shots and trying to like one up each other and just kind of go crazy a little bit. Go for your one night in Vegas type thing, right? Like go out there and make it so different from what you were doing that when you go back to it, it's almost refreshing to be back home. Right. And you can get back and then you can settle back into it, but you settle back into it with a new kind of breath of fresh air in your lungs, right? And so that you can go in and you can start enjoying it. Because sometimes you're so far in it that you can't gratitude your way out, I think. Right? You gotta reset the system somehow, shake it awake, right? Dig yourself out. And maybe that's the way to do it, is to do something similar but different and then come back.
Well, and doing something crazy can also give you ideas of what other things you might have found fun. Like, oh, I didn't know that role playing as a cat with a human intelligence would be fun. Seems ridiculous that we're all animals.
Yes.
Right? Like,
there's those one-page systems that are released. I know they're out there. Marisha Ray is a part of some where the entire rule set is on one sheet of paper.
No fun.
Go play one of those campaigns. If you can't learn that in 5 minutes type thing, right? Like it's super easy. The dice are pared down. Go play as familiars. One of them is familiars.
Yeah.
Right. You're all
like it's so ridiculous, but it was so much fun. Why was it so much fun? And can we take some of that and put it into our campaign to right? It's a new, unexplored, a whole new world of
Aladdin style
of fun.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like those old Disney commercials for Stitch and Lilo where it's a whole new world with Aladdin and Jasmine, and Stitch comes in with his spaceship. Right? It's a whole
Stitch is interrupting all the other Disney.
But all of a sudden it's changed the context, and it's so much more fun than the original one was. Right? It's like I didn't know that was
it. Took something that you loved and added something else that you loved and changed the dynamic. Right?
It's just discovering new ways of playing the game.
Yes.
Right? And then when you go back, you can take those tools that you discovered and sort of reinvigorate whatever it was you had before, right?
And another thing, like without necessarily breaking out of the mold, if you guys don't want to do that, one of the things that you can focus on is have an event or plan an event that you're looking forward to. Our two characters in a forever love cycle where they just maybe it's time that they get married. right? Let's plan.
I thought you were gonna say let's get in a fight.
PC. No, let's plan a piece. No, an event that we can look forward to and be excited about. Right. Maybe we're gonna plan this. Is one of the characters' birthdays coming up? Do you know your PC's birthday? Maybe their birthday's coming up, and they said, you know what? I'm not adventuring for 3 weeks. The week before, the week of, the week after, because I'm just gonna party. Right? Okay, cool. Let's plan a PC birthday party. DMs, you know what to do. I don't even have to tell you. You know what to do with that, right? And so when you're going in, they can do something that's breaking away from what the slog or whatever was slowing things down, right? We can create something that is supposed to be fun, right? That is, we're going to a ball, or there's an announcement of a royal ball, and the adventurers are high enough or have been noticed enough that they somehow got an invite. Right? Now they have to plan where they're going, that they're going to the ball. And what does that mean? What do they need to bring? What do they need to have? What do they need to do? All of these things. How does this work into the story? Yada, yada, yada. Whatever. But it's something new, exciting, and grand. Right. Within your story, within what's going on. And it also increased kind of your appreciation of the lore of the world simultaneously as well. But once again, this is just about being brave and just asking for what you want to see more of.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And you know, sometimes we can't acquiesce in the moment, right? The DM says, I would love to, but you guys are exploring islands way out on the frontier of knowledge and you're making new maps. I can't just have a ball on an island full of like people that have a completely different, society. Okay, yeah, but maybe they come on it and they're having their annual volcano festival. Right? And then the PCs need to go find a gift for the chieftain of the group and whatnot, and ingratiate themselves that way. Maybe it's a surprise thing, but you can reflavor things to make something exciting and new and make them just do something first. Go find the shiniest rock on the beach. Well, is that a role or is that a mini adventure? Right. And let's break away from the little stuff that you those little incremental things and give them a big win in a small package. Yeah. Why not? Yeah. Why not?
Or just do a little fun side quest. It's just for fun.
Just for fun.
Like you're on the island. The chieftain says, "Fighter, we're gonna get married." That's it. Oh yeah, you need this MacGuffin that I got. I'll do it, but you gotta marry me. And that's just a fun little thing. That's for no good reason.
And you have to challenge our greatest warrior for the hand of my daughter. And when you get the fighters getting all prepped up and he shows up in armor and he's ready to go, and the other guy's in, forgive me for stereotypes, the tiki kind of tiki skirt with the banana leaves and whatnot. He's got the lays on.
And then he just starts rapping.
And he starts rapping or dancing. Yeah, exactly. We're having a dance off, bro. And that's how you challenge the greatest. It's not about fighting. This is a fun festival.
Yeah.
This is not a festival of war.
We're not savages.
You're going to dance in all that metal on the beach? You're crazy, guy. You're crazy.
Show me your moves.
Right? And throwing those crazy wacky things out there will slap a smile on people's face. Right? It will. It will. So do it.
Do
it now. And I think that cuts through kind of like you're saying, what is fun? Let's focus on the fun, right? And if we can't pin the tail on the donkey directly, right? Railroad that stuff and do something wacky where you reset the system, you shake up people's perceptions of what's going on and put a smile on their face because now they get to do something just fun. Right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, that's some great points about how to just play and have fun.
Thank you.
We've talked about it. You're so welcome.
Yes.
Right? I want to let you know that I really appreciate you talking about how to have more fun.
I appreciate the amount of focus that you gave me while I was talking about having more fun.
But talking about fun, we talk about like how to prepare yourself for fun, how to discover what you find fun, right? But I want to take a sort of a beat here to talk about what is fun, right? Let me tell you what fun is. So in psychology,
no practice, first try.
Word is on the street that fun is sort of composed of two elements. One is liberation, and the other one is hedonic engagement. So they call it hedonic. So it's just pleasure of experience.
Yes,
right?
Not
Like,
the adult hedonism, right? Just hedonism by itself.
Yeah, like hedonistic sort of engagement. So what is that? That's like getting a massage. It's like it's just like not the massage therapy kind that hurts, but like like the nice relaxing kind you get at a spa, right? Or savoring delicious food, enjoying a really good story.
Yes.
Right? Those are all hedonic engagement type activities. Right? Whereas liberation is things like getting the day off work. Right? That's liberating, right? Or paying off that loan that you've had for years.
So like a freeing or a detachment from a rule or something.
Or something that's been holding you back and holding you down, right? Or getting that medical diagnosis that's, don't worry, that lump is nothing bad.
You're clear, yeah.
You're good.
Yeah.
Right? Don't worry about that rash. It'll go away.
Freedom from worry and concern.
Right?
Yeah.
And sort of the further along liberation you go, the more fun you're having. And the further along hedonistic engagement you go, you're also having more fun. You're having the most fun when you're going along both. And you're in that sort of top quadrant between both maximum liberation and maximum hedonistic engagement, right? So, and what I say this because I think it's important to understand what fun is so that we can properly frame our minds around seeing and experiencing things from the mindset of, say, liberation.
Okay.
Because you can see a certain event, and in one sense, it can be a burden. In another sense, it can be liberation. For example, going to work can be a burden. I gotta go to work.
Yeah.
I can't do what I want.
Yep.
Right? But on another sense is, like I'm having such a hard time at home. It's so much stress at home that going to work is freeing me.
Okay.
Right? It's an extreme example there. But in two ways, it's the same thing, going to work. But one is liberation from something, and one is we're going to jail. As another example, right? For one person, I have no freedom now. I can't go see my movies, eat my food, see the people that I want to see.
Right.
Another person is homeless, and now they're in jail, but now I've got a place to live. I don't have to worry about being cold or finding food, right? Maybe it is a liberation from what I had before. So the same thing, two different ways of seeing it.
Okay.
Same thing with sort of hedonistic engagement, right? Drinking alcohol, a glass of wine can be, I savor it. I love this wine, right? Or another one is, I gotta drink it because everyone else is drinking it at this business meeting. I don't like wine, but
I'm expected to.
So that's why I have to, right? Yeah. Same thing, two different ways of seeing it. And I think in a lot of sense, you can be careful about how you look at sort of playing D&D. It goes along with sort of the certain appreciation. Right? Instead of saying, I have to play D&D.
Okay.
I get to play D&D. Right? Or, we couldn't stop the bad guy lieutenant. Now we have to go and chase him down. Instead of saying, oh man, he got away. Now we get to chase him down and have that adventure.
Yes.
Right? And being excited about it. It's two different ways of seeing the same thing. One will promote fun. One will hold you back from having fun. So it's my turn from hitting the microphone. So I wanted to make sure that everyone out there knew sort of this small graph of what fun is.
Right.
So that you can pay attention to how you are viewing the events and the things that you're doing in D&D to make sure that you're maximizing the fun in your own mind. Because when you're in a bad mood, nothing is fun.
Right.
When you're in a good mood, everything, even the worst things can be fun.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and that's what I mean, right? So make sure that you've got the right sort of mindset and you're aware of What?
All right, I have full shares, and let me know if any of you out there. I was just thinking of like cardio D&D, where you're all on like exercise bikes or whatnot. And you get the endorphins running, and you're playing D&D simultaneously, and so everybody's in like a really good mood while they're doing it. Yeah, D&D gym. Let's make it happen.
Oh, GD&D.
GD&D. Yep. I like it.
Well, there you go. You
just came to me when you're in a bad mood, but yeah, when you're in a great mood, everything's great. When
you come in with your workout gear, and the receptionist is like, "Welcome, adventurer. Welcome to GD&D."
Yeah. You can't make a death save if those RPMs on that bike drop below 90. Push it up. Let's go.
Keep going.
Right? Like, yeah, no.
Don't you dare fail that skill check.
Death saves is 10 burpees and 2 suicides. Let's go. Right. Yeah, no, that's I want to do it. But you're right. When you already preconceive and you already set in stone in your mind that you're having a good day. You're having a bad day. Somebody cut me off in traffic. It's a bad day now. Why? Because they just ruined it because they delayed me by probably 3 or 4 seconds in getting to your final destination, right? But they cut you off, and that's terrible, and it's rude, and you wish terrible things upon those people. That's what happens sometimes, right? And we let people take control of our emotional state far too easily, I think, sometimes. When we can say, oh, he cut me off, that guy's a bleep. Okay, sure, but that's it. And now he's gone. Right? That is their entire effect on my life. Cool. Yeah. That's it. And let it wash away. Sometimes it's easier to let it go away. Sometimes it's easier to hold on to. But yeah, we just kind of need to focus on the good stuff, right?
Exactly. And when you start playing D&D, make sure you're ready to play D&D, right? Like try to let go of that guy will cut you off, right? Or that report that your boss is like, I need it by the certain day, and you're like, that's so unfair. What can you do? That's your job. It's not from personal experience or anything, but let go of that stuff, because that will hold you back from having fun in D&D, right? Prepare yourself to see and enjoy the pleasure and the fun that appears in there, so you can sit there and be like, that D20, that's so awesome. I can't believe it. Yeah, right? Because you're prepared to actively go and enjoy something. Yeah. That's the difference between just drinking my Coke on the patio, right? And going, oh man, I love how the glass or the ice clinks sometimes in the heat. And then you drink it and you pay attention to that and to all the flavors and all. Right, like that's the difference between it's the active enjoyment. So when you sit down to play before every session, get your mind ready to be like that. Yeah, and like you just said, right? Really, in order to get to that place, you have to get rid of what's holding you back. Yes, right. You have to move through, and whether that takes a moment of quiet consideration, right? When you're drinking, or you're taking a sip from that glass, or you're drinking what's in that glass, right? You're hearing or you're listening to the music, right? And trying to kind of revisit the idea of like a childlike appreciation. You know, we talked about play and we talked about kind of getting back to those ideals, maybe not like actually getting back to that level, but to getting back to those ideals and those kind of core reasons that we do these things, right? For the liberation and for the liberation and the hedonistic engagement. You know, we can, if you're a veteran, there's pleasure that you can take in watching newer players go through the things that you went through 5, 10, 20, 30 years ago. There's also appreciation that you can give them for doing things that you never thought of, right? Or tackling a problem in a way that you never conceived of because you're in your own lane, right? You got your own, you've learned how that you handle this and how that dragon has 22 AC and blah, blah, blah. And you know all of this stuff beforehand. They don't. And sometimes they're using a Nerf bat on a legendary creature and you're like, oh, little guy, I need to teach you something. Yeah, like enjoy that moment and remember back to when you were learning and you were going through these things and how much fun you were having then when you weren't kind of burdened down by the monotony of reality. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And with the monotony of reality, right? Like you're kind of saying like, oh yeah, we won another fight when we beat that bad guy's lieutenant who ran away. No, we beat him so bad that he had to run away. That's a victory.
Yeah.
Do we want to chase him? Maybe we don't want to. We kind of have to. Now, you know what? Let's not chase him. Let's chase him tomorrow. He can't get that far. Right? And we're going to let him sweat all night and he's going to think that we're hunting him down. We're going to go back to the tavern and we're going to celebrate.
Yeah.
Right?
We foiled his plans.
Yeah.
It's a win.
It's a win. It's a win. Even though it wasn't a total victory, right? We didn't capture him. You know what? We still beat his butt and he is on his heels and he's running. That means that whatever's happening, today we won. We won the battle. We might not win the war, but we won the battle. Yeah. Right? And recognize that kind of thing. And every time you do that, switch it around. Switch it around into the best part. Maybe you have trouble with that and you need to play a character that does that. That's one of their things is they always see the silver lining, right? And you can train yourself through the game to go into your real life and you're like, this is
another way that playing D&D improves your life. Another. Well, the references just keep coming back.
Yeah.
But another way that playing D&D will actually improve your real life, right? Because D&D is life.
Yeah, and when we say that, right, like going right back to the top when I said, making a space for yourself, right? That means that you need to make sure you're getting enough sleep. Make sure that you're getting enough food. Make sure that you're hydrating, right? Make sure that you're watching how much caffeine you're taking, right? If you need a monster to get through it, caffeine and cantrips can get you through a lot of things, right? But this is all in levels, right? This is all in levels. And if you can't commit to things, be honest and say that I can't commit to that, but I can commit to this, right? And do the work ahead of time to give yourself permission to enjoy these things later guilt-free.
Yeah.
No, I said I can only do it once every other week because I have all this studying to do and all of the work to do, and I got to do this and I got to do that, and I have all these responsibilities in real life. Okay, but I gave myself one cheat day every 2 weeks, and I am going to enjoy this. I have scheduled the enjoyment. If that's the type of person you are, that you live off of your calendar. What am I doing in the next 30 minutes? What am I doing in the next 30 minutes? What am I doing? Yeah. And D&D comes up. Yes. Great. Awesome. I scheduled the fun in. I've given myself permission. I made sure that, yesterday I said D&D is tomorrow. Make sure that all of your homework or your research is done. Great. Had a good sleep, right? Thought about all the fun stuff you're going to do in tomorrow's session. Yeah, these things are important and they culminate in the ability for you really to liberate yourself from the burdens of just like monotony and the doldrums. Yeah. Right? So you can get in there and you can begin your journey up Mount Fun, right? Because you don't just start at the top. You never start at the top of anything, right? That's why we're here, is to increase the amount of fun that we're having over time and find that maximization through everything, right? Kung Fu is life. D&D is life.
Well, and we say all this stuff, and it's not like, I think it would be unfair to yourself if you expect yourself just to, sounds funny, but just to sit down and just be able to have fun, maximum fun. This will actually take practice.
It does.
It seems stupid to think that we need to practice having fun, but I think as you get older and away from that sort of the innocence of childhood, you lose the ability to have fun.
No, I think you stop practicing it, and so the skill becomes rusty.
Yes.
Right?
So sharpen it. And
just like anything. If you can sit down and you can focus for 3 hours on that project that you have to do, if you can sit down and make sure that you're cutting 1 millimeter slices of green onions, right? So that the recipe is perfect. If you, like any skill that you're doing, changing the oil in your car, whatever it is, we don't, as adults, allow ourselves to practice fun because fun is childish and meant for children. No, it's not.
It's actually essential for a properly balanced psychological profile for humans, right?
You have to be able to enjoy things. Yeah. Because if you can't enjoy things, that's a big issue. Yeah. Right? If you think you're enjoying it, but you're not, there's a word for it. That's bad. Right? And so these are the things that you have to do, unfortunately, before you can get to the table and just have fun, is you have to work at having fun, right? It's like a muscle. It's like willpower.
Yeah.
It's like everything else. And it will come over time. And that's great, because that means that the more you practice it, the more you're going to get out of it.
And who doesn't want more fun?
Who doesn't want more fun?
I mean, except those guys who have too much fun already. And we don't want to talk about those guys.
No, probably accountants.
That's why they're accountants, because they need to lower the fun in their lives. So when they're not working, you should see what they get up to. Guys, I gotta get to work. I need to liberate myself from all this fun.
From all this way too much fun, and I can count it all. I think that's a great way of kind of putting it. So get out there, get in the comments and tell us how you found more enjoyment or more fun in your D&D sessions. What did you do at your table, or what kind of organizations have you spearheaded that you have found a way to increase more enjoyment and more just fun between yourself and the other people? Yeah,
no, absolutely. Or like, sort of, what is it that you've found fun in D&D that surprised yourself? You're like, oh, I didn't know that that's fun. Like, now I've discovered a new kind of fun. Mm-hmm. It'd be interesting too. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's that.
That is that. That is that. Yeah. Thank you for being here. Hopefully it put a smile on your face at some point. If it didn't, smile right now. And maybe that'll make your day a little bit better, because it makes my day better.
Yeah, always. Wonderful. Well, this has been Caffeine Cantrips.
I was Joe.
Whom? I'm Mike.
I'm Mike. Byron, Sean, Caffeine Cantrips. Join us next time, or else. Oh, that was more water than I intended. More water in my cup than I intended. So much.